public by live streaming to YouTube, as well as into the courtroom via the court TV. We are going to operate, we may be operating hybrid, as I may have people in the courtroom, as well as those who have elected to appear by Zoom. And there are special instructions for that, and I will get to that very shortly. We will be on record via the with the official court reporter. I introduce you to Esther Delgado, who is County Court 2's official court reporter. All persons in this session, as well as the public, are admonished to not and shall not record these proceedings. The our counsel and persons in this court session and courtroom are reminded to exercise proper courtroom decorum and attire at all times. For those who are appearing via Zoom and are being permitted to appear via Zoom, remember, with any permit, it can be revoked if you do not follow if you do not follow the instructions for appearing appearing via Zoom. So first, you cannot be in a vehicle. If you are in a vehicle, you have two options. One, to get out of the vehicle and find a quiet place to participate. Two, the second option is to drive down to County Court at Law Number 2, located at 300 De La Rosa, San Antonio, Texas, 78205. We are on the first floor of the Kadena Reeves Justice Center. You also, the further requirements regarding Zoom is that you must have your name, first name, and last name shown, being displayed. If it is not, please, you can rename yourself to be able to show your first name, last name. It cannot be your device's name or a nickname. It has to be your proper first name and last name. And excuse me for constant coughing and clearing on my throat. I apologize. Thirdly, you must appear. People in the courtroom, they have their video on. I can see them at all times. For those on Zoom, that means that you need to appear. You have to have your video on, at least while the court addressing the court. And so, and you must be in a proper light so that I will be able to see your face. Take your device, place it on a flat surface, and place yourself in the center of it and refrain from moving. I don't know if you guys notice it for others who are viewing, but when you're moving, it causes a dizzying effect, people in and out. So just refrain from moving, get in a comfortable spot and sit up. Your posture, folks in the courtroom are sitting up, and sit up. And so that we'll be able to have continue. Then, excuse me, Zoom has a feature that is a chat feature. Please refrain from using that chat feature without my permission. An exception is if you need to leave the Zoom session for any reason, please let the bailiff know, the deputy. We have here with us today, Deputy M. Garza. You see her there. You can go ahead and chat with her. Let her know that you need to leave this session. Just as if you were in a courtroom, you would check in with her to check in and out with her. The deputy. So that's the only exception. There is no chewing gum, drinking, smoking, vaping while you're on Zoom. If you cannot do it in the courtroom, you definitely can't do it on Zoom, because with Zoom, you're actually almost like being in front of the court. So it won't do that. Now I will call your name, defendants, I will call your name twice. Please, if I mispronounce your name, correct me so that I can make my best effort to pronounce it correctly. Then I will, once I call you, calling your name at least twice, please unmute, stay unmuted so that I may ascertain your representation, who your attorney is. If you do not have an attorney, I will ask whether you need time to hire an attorney or would you like to apply for a court appointed. If you wish to apply for a court appointed, I will probably excuse you immediately so that you can come down to the courthouse and apply for a court appointed attorney. Otherwise, I need to ascertain your who your attorney is. After I finish speaking with you, then you can mute yourself again. Your attorneys may respond for you. And even if they do, I still need to hear from the defendant. Attorneys, when you do respond, please let me know if you wish to confer with the ADA or the court coordinator, or if you need to confer with your client so that we may be able to effect that immediately after I finish calling the docket. Please advise me as that, don't get into too much, because I need to get through the docket. And once I'm done with the docket, I will come back and address each individual issues after I have moved the attorneys. Zoom does have a raise hand feature. You can use that, or of course, you can go ahead and physically raise your hand if you wish to get my attention. Please keep in mind, Zoom is much slower than if you were in person because I can only deal with one voice at a time. It's futile to try to talk at the same time because we just drown each other out. So be patient. I will definitely get to everybody, but please do keep that in mind, and let's use one voice at a time. Also, the court reporter can only take one voice at a time. Anyways, all righty. So with that, let me it is 9:10 now, and I am going to start calling the docket. Today is Friday, the 12th of August, 2022. Anyone coming in after this is definitely late. And I am looking for the following people. Deanne Griffin, Deanne Michelle Griffin. Marcus, failure to appear. Anna Marie Garcia. Anna Marie Garcia.
Coming, Judge.
Oh, here, Your Honor.
Good morning, Miss Anna Marie Garcia. Is Monica Guerrero your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much. We'll go ahead and wait for her. Appreciate that.
Okay.
Esteban Serrato. Esteban Serrato.
Present, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Serrato. Do you need time to hire an attorney, or you wish to apply for a court-appointed attorney? Sir?
Yeah,
This is
attorney
Ashley
doesn't-
Morgan, Judge. I already filed a notice of appearance yesterday. I just need to get some dates with Miss Luna.
Okay, thank you very much. So, thank you both for being here. Apollonia Bermudez. Apollonia Bermudez.
He's present with counsel,
Present.
Judge. I have a question of the court when you have the time.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for being here. Maria Eva Solis. Maria Eva Solis. Okay, let's mark that as failure to appear. Cheyenne Rodriguez. Cheyenne Rodriguez.
Present.
With
Good
counsel,
morning,
Your
ma'am.
Honor.
Good morning, Attorney Hernandez. Thank you
morning, Judge.
for being here.
And we need to address the court after the docket also on this matter.
Okay, thank you. Alexander Moreno. Alexander Ethan Moreno.
Good morning, Your Honor. He should be in the courtroom.
He's coming, Judge.
Alrighty.
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Moreno.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Thank you for being here, sir. Appreciate it. Go ahead and have a seat. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there anyone in the courtroom that I have not called their name? Is there, we have a short docket today.
Yes,
is
we
there
got one.
Okay,
Come over here.
just the courtroom right now, please.
Oh, it's Thomas Green, Your Honor.
Hold on, just the courtroom. You're not inside the courtroom, yes, sir. Just inside the courtroom. Yes, sir, your name?
John Haley.
Okay. All right, Mr. Haley, who's your attorney?
Mr. Alfonso Otero. I am here to try to conference for a plea from Ms. Ling Han. And if we're both on the same page, then I'd like to proceed. If not, then I'd like to apply for a court-appointed lawyer.
Okay, all right, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Anyone else, deputy, in the courtroom?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Anyone in Zoom that I have not addressed? Has not heard their name.
Thomas Green.
Okay. And Mr. Green, who's your attorney?
Callas.
I'm sorry, Neil Kaffis, did you say?
Hector Gonzalez is my attorney.
Okay, Hector Gonzalez, okay.
Judge, Mr. Green was in yesterday's docket. We had Claudina Hernandez stepping in for Mr. Gonzalez, and she set him up for a future date.
Is that Claudine Espinoza?
Claudine, yes, sorry.
All righty, okay. We'll go ahead and I will tend to Mr. Green. Minute. Anyone else in the court, in the Zoom session that I've missed or? Okay. Mr. Esteban Serato, I know, please go ahead and stay muted, okay?
Sorry, Judge, were you calling me?
No, Mr. Serato was unmuted, so I just needed to mute him.
Okay.
Okay, alrighty, that concludes the calling of the docket. A couple of attorneys have indicated that they want to go ahead and address the court, and I will get to that. Any attorneys that need to confer with the ADA?
Yes, Your Honor, I need to confirm.
Alrighty, let's go ahead and put Attorney Thomas in with the ADA. And ADA, Juan Martinez, are you the only person that have today, only ADA have today?
I think that Mr. Bosis will be here momentarily, but for now, I'm all you've got.
Okay. Okay, Esther, you helping me out here? Okay, you sure did already.
Yes, Judge, I'm
Anyone-
sorry. I can do that.
Okay, yeah, not a problem, it's done.
Yes. ma'am.
Is there anyone else that needs to confer with the ADA?
I need to, this is Ashley Morgan. I need to talk to both Miss Luna and then I can confer with the ADA as well.
Okay, thank you.
May I approach the court? Judge?
Absolutely. Okay, we've moved Ashley Morgan. Thank you very much. Okay. Counsel, I'm sorry, anyone else? That's all righty. Counsel, Attorney George Sherman?
Yes, Judge, we on Mr. Bermudez, who's present, we have the paperwork filled out and it looks like we have a plea ready today. But I have a question of the court. He does not own the vehicle that he works in. It's a tow truck. Under the transportation code, he can drive that vehicle without an ignition interlock as long as he has a letter from his employer saying he knows he's supposed to have an ignition interlock, but he doesn't own the vehicle and it's okay with us. So I am trying to make those arrangements so that he is not required to have a ignition interlock in his work truck under the transportation code.
Which transportation code, sir?
I don't have the section in front of me, but I can provide it to you shortly.
All righty. And do you need to go ahead and, because I don't have the paperwork, I emailed and I said I didn't have the paperwork on this case. So
Oh,
do
you
you
don't?
need to go ahead and, yes, sir, I don't have the paperwork. So do you need to talk with your client, sir?
Well, that's the only issue that's wrong with it. And I do this frequently. So I don't know if this court has ever been involved with that before, but I'll get the section for you.
Okay.
And we may need to have that letter prepared before we do the plea, if the court so desires.
Now, the thing about it, we need to go ahead and take care of this matter. So if that has been a hang up or an issue, I still don't have the paperwork. I think that there's something that we can deal with as part of the disposition of this case. So,
Right. Well, I'll have to get then with Ms. Hahn and see what's happened to the paperwork. Because my client says that he has filled out the paperwork.
okay, the conversation I heard as I was logging in, I came in, he said he hasn't, and he has questions for you. He wants to talk to you.
He has questions for me, and that was the question. But let me check and make sure that we do have the paperwork. If not, I'll get with Ms. Hahn and we'll get that done.
Okay, so let me go ahead and put you and your client in the breakout room, sir.
All right.
Again, my instructions is get to a place, sit down, push your device on a flat surface, and stay still, please. Attorney Miguel Hernandez, you said you wish to approach.
Yes, Your Honor. We're here on Ms. Cheyenne Rodriguez. It was an application for a pretrial diversion. The last time we were here, Ms. Chavez had said that they were considering this matter and it had been approved. They just hadn't gotten the paperwork out. Since the last time we have gotten the paperwork, I did forward it to Ms. Rodriguez. She went over it. She contacted me. We went over the paperwork. I explained to her, I got some information for her. She has signed it and returned it. My problem is I'm trying to locate it. And as soon as I do, I will get it over to Ms. Chavez. But she has completed all the paperwork, Your Honor, for the pretrial diversion, and she was accepted. She just has to go and, I guess, pay the money and start the program.
Which one is it? Is she's been accepted? Or are you looking for the paperwork to submit it?
She has been accepted. She has signed the paperwork. She returned it to me. I'm trying to locate it so I can get it to Ms. Chavez, Your Honor, in my computer. She just informed me this morning that she had signed it and sent it back yesterday. I have a murder case I've got to get to the 186th on for today for trial next week. And so I was not actually paying much attention to the computer yesterday.
Oh, gotcha. Alrighty, so you just gotta go ahead and locate that, and you need to go to 186.
Yes, Your Honor, I have a murder case trial setting.
Alrighty, and sir, okay, so let me get you to the when do you think this will be wrapped up, sir?
Hopefully I can have it done by this afternoon and get it off to Ms. Chavez. I just have to, like I said, locate it, but I just need to go find out where my trial setting is for next week on this matter in the 186th.
Okay, so can we give you a couple more weeks?
That'd be fine, Judge, and I think we'll have everything done by then.
Okay, all right, we'll look at your calendar and see what makes sense considering that you've been looking at a murder trial. At the 2nd of September, sir?
Probably, Judge, that'll be fine.
Okay.
Yes, Judge, that'll be fine.
Alrighty. So PTD to September 2022. All right, I'm gonna put Ms. Rodriguez in with the court coordinator, and I'm pretty sure that she has her reset form, but let's go ahead and make sure, and from there we'll release her. And sir, you're excused, but if you just hang on 2 seconds, I'm gonna send you an invitation. Please go ahead and accept that. Would that be good for you? I put her in with the court coordinator to make
yes,
sure
Judge,
that we got the email address and all that. Okay.
That's fine, Judge. Thank you.
Right.
I will join the meeting.
Okay.
Judge, this is Ashley Morgan. May I approach when you have a moment?
Please, real quick, I need to, go ahead. While I'm moving someone. Go ahead.
Are you ready for me?
Yes.
I conferred with Miss Ling on Mr. Esteban Serrato. I also got dates from Miss Luna. She has his email address. We would like to reset this for pretrial conference on November 17th with jury trial on November 28th.
You want to do the PTC on November
17th? Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we're resetting for PTC.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, not trial.
Not trial, just pretrial. I think we'll work it out. I'm just going to get some mitigation evidence from him.
Okay. All righty. So November 2017 for pretrial conference hearing. Thank you, counsel.
Thank you. May I go into a breakout room to talk to him before we're excused?
Absolutely. Excuse me, and you can be excused from there, okay?
Thank you.
All righty. Could you move Miss Attorney Morgan in with Mr. Serrato in a
Yes, Judge.
breakout room? Attorney Lamas.
Good morning, Your Honor. I did confer with the state this morning. We're pretty close to wrapping this case up. We're just waiting on a response from my client's pretrial officer. once we get that response, it should wrap the case up. Can we just get a short reset to see if we can't get a hold of the pretrial officer?
What's the class number, sir?
It's
Oh, yeah.
685-334. Should be the
What's
last
going-
one on your docket.
Yes, what's going on with it? It's,
Well, we have a conditional dismissal worked out.
okay.
And we just need
setting
a,
for conditional dismissal?
yes.
Okay, what date are we going to do that for? And just give me 2 seconds. I'll be back to go ahead and get that on record, okay?
Sure.
Thank you.
Ling, did you get my message?
I did. I honestly, I don't have the authority to, it's quite possible that judge will decide a different route, but it's not a very high probability.
Well, if he has a handheld device for the other trucks,
That's,
and then he just keeps it in his private vehicle, would that be acceptable to you?
that would be perfectly acceptable for me. I think, well, I guess my concern would be whether, if he were to have a high blow, it wouldn't lock him out from any of the vehicles,
That's true. Mhm.
And since the incident did occur while he was driving one of them, I think that's going to be another issue.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, they each have a different function. It's not like he's just picking up cars and wreckers. Each wrecker has a different function.
mhm.
So he has to have all three of those wreckers to do his business.
And they're all operating on like public roads.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, this is an obstruction of a highway. So the concern seems to be not statutory, it's the safety issue.
Right. Let me see. Hey, Brett, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Do you want to help us brainstorm a creative solution for this little issue?
So what's the problem? He's got a lot of vehicles.
He has 3 records that he drives for his business. He owns them, and they each have a different function. So, it's not like he can just drive one of them and leave the other 2, because his business requires him to do the function of each one. And he has a personal vehicle, of course, that he drives. And if he has to put an ignition interlock in both of them, it's going to hamper his ability to do his business.
Right.
But he was arrested in one of those trucks.
Okay.
So I suggested the ignition interlock in his personal vehicle, but have a handheld device at work. But Ling says, well, if he blows hot on that thing, it's not going to stop him from starting the record. And she's right.
Yeah.
So if whatever result that we have here, it has to be agreed to by the judge before we do the plea.
Right.
Because if we get into this and then she starts going off on this stuff, then we might have to withdraw the plea.
Okay.
I did not know this. I thought that he worked for someone, but it's actually his business, and these are his trucks. And so it doesn't come under the transportation code at all, because he is an owner.
Okay.
Now, an ignition interlock is not statutorily required in this case, but I understand your concerns and the judge's concerns.
This is Mr. Bermudez, right?
Yes. Mhm. And he's at home, and I'm going to release him to go to my office because the computer he has isn't working right.
Okay.
If we're going to do this today, if we're not going to do it today, then we can just reschedule it, I guess. I don't know.
There's something else to consider. I've driven some of those Ruckers in the past. Some of them may be manual, so I'm not sure an ignition interlock in those could be all that safe in a bigger truck like that. Just
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really, excuse me. I'm not really sure what else we could do other than what you suggested, the ignition interlock in the personal vehicle, and a PAM portable device when he's at work. Because I imagine it would be prohibitively expensive to put ignition interlock into all of his vehicles.
And right, it may not be possible in those vehicles. I don't know.
Yeah. But then honestly, I know those portable devices are actually pretty, like you have to do quite a few blows a day. So, I mean, they do keep pretty good track of when he's drinking. But of course, if it doesn't, it would, yeah, I mean, it wouldn't stop him from getting in the wrecker and driving, but that, I mean, that may just be, the best imperfect solution, is to have it on his personal vehicle and then have a PAM device separately to monitor him when he's at work.
And it's quite possible that the best argument, if you can confirm it, is that having ignition interlock in some of those wreckers, like Mr. Lamas was saying, is just not safe. And like you were saying, Mr. Sharman, like you can't install them in it. So.
It's a commercial vehicle, right?
Well, and also I'd let the judge know, it's not like he could just drive those to a bar and park anywhere. They're pretty hard to park since their length makes it a challenge in bigger cities. So it's not like he's gonna be using that as a personal vehicle or anything.
Yeah, I think one of them is very large and it has the rear is actually a big place to haul things in, you know.
Yeah, but I think that was actually maybe the one that he was pulled over in, so.
Yeah. You know, I understand your concerns.
Yes, but like Mr. Bosa said, the solution that you offered of the ignition interlock in his private vehicle and the PAM for him to carry around may be the best that we can do. And I mean, certainly there was non-accident. So, he's got a lot at stake to keep his nose clean, I guess.
That's true.
And,
Well, do y'all want to try to go forward with it today and say that we have that agreement?
I am happy to agree to that because I don't know another solution.
Brett, what do you think about that?
I mean, I think there's a good chance that would be successful because, I mean, generally the judge wants ignition interlock on anything the defendant is driving, but if there's an argument such as this is a big commercial vehicle that isn't going to work with ignition interlock, then that she may be willing to go along with it because I don't think she would want to force him to stop driving those vehicles if that's what his job is and what his livelihood depends on.
Right.
But I mean, obviously you never know what's going to happen. So,
right.
I mean, the way I would think about it is whenever he's on a job and he's loaded up at the middle of the night and he's driving on the highway, now it wants him to not only shift gears, but it wants him to blow on the machine to keep going. It just increases the danger, I think.
Yeah, they do that, if you're driving for long periods of time or initially during the first 15 minutes. While you're driving, you have to blow into that device. And that's unsafe.
Yeah, especially if it's a standard vehicle. It's just loaded down. It's more risk to the environment or anyone around it, really.
I was driving with a client of mine. She drove us down to Corpus Christi, and while we're driving at 70 miles an hour, she had to blow into her ignition interlock. It went off. She's drinking water and driving. That was an experience, but I should have picked her up myself.
I know clients struggle with it in like just their regular vehicles. I can only imagine in those bigger ones.
Right. So. Well, I guess there's another problem is that his computer's not working right at where he is, and he needs to go to my office to have my secretary help him sign the papers.
I am totally okay with you getting a reset if you want for this.
Yeah, seems like there are a lot of moving pieces here, so let's go ahead and do that. And tell the judge on a time certain that we would come back with these things resolved.
It might also be helpful if your client's able to find any documentation that like installation of an ignition interlock is just not physically possible in those records.
Okay, I would not necessarily want to make that a condition.
Well, I'm not suggesting it is. I'm just saying that if you can provide something like that whenever the actual plea date happens, that might help in making,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? I'm not making a condition for this plea to happen.
All right. What would be a good day to come back for y'all?
Oh, I'm here every day, so just not a Wednesday.
Is Monday a bad day, or is it real busy, or what?
No, Monday actually is pretty light. I think there's only like, knock on wood, 4 things right now. So yeah, Monday would.
Well, then Monday's okay with me. And I could bring him to the office, fill out the paperwork, and then Monday, and I'd have him check on this, and maybe I'll have some photographs I can show the judge. Explain to her what's going on.
Works for me.
All right. And he had pictures of the trucks, so I can show that to her.
I'd probably e-file those.
All right.
I don't know what you'd e-file it under, but something like that.
Yeah, I don't know how to e-file that. I mean, I could email you copies, and then I could provide her with copies at the courtroom. It's up to y'all if you want me to do that.
We want to get you caught up on some headlines.
So is it Monday?
Yeah, Monday's good.
All right.
And the judge probably would want that
Okay.
since this case was set for trial. So, hey,
Yeah, y'all have a trial set for Monday?
no, but
Oh,
this case was, it was gonna go to trial.
oh, I see what you're saying.
So we don't want to push the plea.
No, I'm just trying to make sure we get it done soon.
Good morning. I was Attorney Lamas.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, please refresh my memory what we were talking about.
We were talking about a reset for us to get in contact with the pretrial officer to get a conditional dismissal done
Okay,
on Mr. Moreno's case.
alrighty. Let's get on record on cause number. Let's get on record. Court is going to call cause number 685-334, State of Texas versus Alexander Ethan Moreno. Parties, please approach and identify who's before the court, starting with the state. State. Who's going to go? Can you hear me, State?
I think your screen froze.
Oh,
I can hear you, Judge. I think ADA Han was working on this case.
right.
She was, and it looks like her screen's frozen.
Okay. Can you contact her and see if she can log back in? Or maybe in the process of logging back in, we'll suspend the record.
Yes, let me call her real quick.
Thanks. Okay.
Judge, am I unfrozen?
Yes, I think so.
Perfect. Okay. So with Mr. Moreno's case, the state or I
Well,
had
we need
offered.
to, let me go ahead and get back on record.
Perfect.
Let's get back on record on cause number 685-334. State of Texas versus Alexander Ethan Moreno. Parties, please approach and identify who's before the court, starting with the state.
Ling Han for the state.
Patrick Lamas for Mr. Moreno.
And where is Mr. Moreno?
He's inside the courtroom, Your Honor.
Okay.
Come
Hmm.
on.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you, Mr. Alexander Moreno, Ethan Moreno?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. And I think you can just speak without having to bend down if we can hear you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, very good. Yeah, we can. Very good. So, counsel, on this matter, you said that you guys are working on a conditional dismissal.
Yes, Your Honor, that is correct.
Please proceed, AD State. What is the conditions?
The condition for this dismissal was that Mr. Moreno stayed in compliance with with his group home for 60 days. Group homes usually require compliance with perhaps group counseling, individual counseling, with meds if prescribed. And we were trying to verify that, as this court has requested that we provide documentation for conditional dismissals. I believe that I have hopefully an email from Mr. Moreno's pretrial officer that states that he has not received any violation reports, and hope that that's sufficient. And I believe Mr. Moreno was released to the group home on June 8th, 2022. And then last week, that group home actually closed and Ms. Moreno was moved to another one that has been in compliance with that new group home also.
Okay,
I'm here.
so what would be effective would be a letter from the letterhead of the group home to say that he's there and his progress, or if you wish to have a hearing, say a performance review hearing on this matter, for them to be able to see how he has complied. With that, we can go ahead and do that. We'll just do a performance review. Okay.
So, Your Honor, if we can get a letter from the current group home stating he's in compliance, would that satisfy the?
As far as the meeting the conditional requirements, that's what the conditional requirements is, that he's in compliance with group home regulations, right? In being inside the group home, participating, engaging, and all that, right?
Yes, Your Honor. We do have an email, but from that group home, the new group home. But I can reach out to that new group home again and get something on their letterhead, if that's what the court wants.
That would suffice. So
Okay.
we're resetting this for 60 days or 30 days. What is it?
Either one, Your Honor, is fine. Hopefully I can get you that letter before then.
Well, he has to complete the 60-day requirement.
Well, he's been out of jail for more than 60 days, I believe.
Out of jail?
Yes, he's been, since he was released from jail, he went to a group home, back to his group home, where he was complying, and then as of last week, he was transferred to a different group home, and he's still in compliance there.
If he was compliant, why was he in jail?
So originally, there was an incident at the group home, but once he was released from jail, he went back to the group home. From the date that he was released to now, he was in compliance with them. And then that was the condition that we're making sure that he could behave himself.
Okay, why don't you make sure that group home and the past group home that he was in on their letterheads, make sure that they detail that.
And Judge, it might be more prudent to just set this out for 60 days because my understanding is the former group home, the first one that Mr. Moreno was released to, it has been very difficult for defense to reach them, to get contact with them. So perhaps since the new group home has been more responsive, 60 days out would be.
We'd be fine with that. She is correct, Your Honor. That group home, even when I talked to the pretrial services, the pretrial officer in charge of my client's case, he had mentioned that he had to get a hold of. But if we can reset it for 60 days, this new group home should get us the letter we need.
Check your calendar, sir.
Sure. Do you have any preference, Your Honor?
Well, let's go ahead and agree on a date, sir.
Sure. I'm wide open, Your Honor.
Okay, we're looking at October, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, want to come back on Tuesday, the 11th?
That works for me, Your Honor.
All right.
And since my client did show up in person this time, Your Honor, would it be okay if we are still doing it on Zoom that he shows up on Zoom instead of in person?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay.
As long as he knows how to use the Zooms.
Absolutely.
And we won't have any, technical issues. So if you can check that out before, definitely.
Sure.
Zoom. Yeah. As long as everybody follows that, the requirements, we're good. Thank you. So we got this. Let me get you in and your client in with the court coordinator so that you can go ahead and get that reset done. Deputy, can you set Mr. Moreno up in the back room so that he can get in there with his counselor, with his
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
All right, we're off record on
Judge.
this matter. State anything else?
Nothing else on Mr. Moreno's case. Thank you,
Okay,
Mr. Lamas.
Thank you. Y'all have a good one.
thank you, sir.
After we meet with Miss Luna, Your Honor, may we be excused?
Absolutely, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Judge, I hope you get to feeling better soon. It sounds to me like you're not doing too well.
I'm just trying to get rid of these coughs. I'm hoping that the ginger tea that I'm drinking would help. But thank you so much. I appreciate it. I
I
appreciate
know how it is.
it. And so, what are we going to do with your case, counsel?
Judge, there are two issues. Number one, my client's computer that he had at his location for Zoom is not working very well, and I needed him to come down to my office so we can help him fill out the paperwork and get this thing on the road. So that's the first issue. The second issue is that
I'm sorry, counsel. I do apologize. I apologize for interrupting you. Mr.
Yes.
Moreno, if you will accept the invitation to join your attorney. Okay, you have to. Deputy, will you be able to help him to go ahead and join the breakout room with the court coordinator, accept the invitation?
Yes, ma'am. We're just looking for the invitation.
Look under the three dots and it should be there because, okay.
Yes.
Do you see it? Let me resend for you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Do not accept the first one I sent. I'm going to move. Okay, there you go. You see it now? Okay. Counsel, again, apologies. Please proceed.
all right, and so we have agreed. Second, the issue, we have agreed to obstruction of a highway. My client has his own business, and he has 3 different kinds of vehicles that are commercial vehicles, that are tow trucks, and that they also carry, some of them carry loads. So there's an ignition interlock requirement in our plea bargain agreement, although it is not required by statute. So counsel and I have agreed that he could have an ignition interlock in his personal vehicle for the 6 months. But as to the 3 commercial vehicles, that while he's driving them, he should have a alcohol monitor, a handheld alcohol monitored in those vehicles. And we needed to know if that would be acceptable to the court.
It would be considered. Let's see how things work out. There's something definitely to consider.
All right, well, that would be our agreement, Judge. And we have agreed to it. And so when we go forward with the plea, I want to make certain that we don't get my client in a situation where he can't comply with the conditions of his probation.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so when we're going to take this plea?
We were thinking of doing it on Monday because my schedule's clear, their schedule is clear. And today I can get him into my office. We can fill out the paperwork and then we'll be ready. And I'll get copies or pictures of the vehicles that we're talking about to show you why there's a problem with it. One thing that you may or may not know is that when you're driving with an ignition interlock, when you initially take off, in 10 to 15 minutes, it will ask you to blow while you're driving. And if he has a commercial vehicle with, and he's hauling a load and he has to change gears, that would be kind of dangerous for him to do. And also, some vehicles may not be fitted physically for an ignition interlock. And I can show you the vehicles that he has for his business.
Okay. All righty. I appreciate your efforts to go ahead and be able to resolve this issue. So we're going to go ahead and recall both cases because he was here yesterday. I'm not really too sure.
He was. He's
so-
been here today and yesterday, and we'd like to get this resolved.
Okay, yes, and we would want to oblige you with that. So the thing is, and I believe the 916 is on the docket today set for a trial announcement, but I believe we did that yesterday, sir. We took care of
Yes.
that. And so why don't we just get you recalled for tomorrow? I mean Monday.
Monday, yes.
Monday. And sounds like we'll get the paperwork on by Monday.
On the companion case, Judge, they're tendering a dismissal.
Yes, I understood from yesterday that you're going to take it into
Right.
be taken into consideration.
What time did you want us to come back on Monday?
Same back channel, same time.
9 o'clock?
Yeah, your client needs to check in at 8:30, sir.
I'll have him do that.
All righty.
Thank you. I'll make him, I think he's in a breakout room right now. I need to tell him he's to come to the office and then he's excused.
Okay. Oh, okay. He's still there with where you. Okay, let me go ahead and put you guys in with the court coordinator. So because. Okay. And you're excused for that. Have a great weekend, sir.
Thank you. You too, Judge.
Thanks. State. We are waiting on attorney Monica Guerrero or Joseph Stetson to
Okay,
do a plea.
all right.
Right, on Ana Marie Garcia. I do have the paperwork. I think we're all set. We're just waiting for the attorney to show up. And I'll have Miss Luna give him a call, see where they're at, okay?
Okay, sounds good, Judge.
Alrighty, so we'll just go into recess for about an hour, about 11. and then see if, but if they show up before that, may I contact you?
Yes. Mhm.
All right, thank you.